Are you or a loved one feeling like the years are catching up faster than expected? It's not just in your head. The effects of aging can sometimes accelerate, but how can you tell if it's all happening too quickly? In this video, I'll explore 3 simple tests to examine if you're aging faster than you should be. The effects of aging can be daunting. Time is the same for everybody, so shouldn't we all technically age at the same pace? Why do some of us show signs of aging faster than others? As we get older, all sorts of stuff happens. Your hair gets thinner and grayer, you might have a little less energy, and maybe you'll have some wrinkles too. There are so many important things to keep track of as you age that it can often become overwhelming. Today, we'll specifically focus on your physical age and discuss a few simple tests you can do to examine your health. We'll teach you how to keep score and repeat these tests so that you can improve over time. Then we'll review a few tips to better your scores and reverse some of those aging effects. I'm Justin, by the way. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I own 7 physical therapy clinics across Southwest Florida. We treat thousands of senior patients just like you each year. Be sure to subscribe to the Active Adult channel and turn notifications on so that you'll never miss a new video. First test is we're going to assess your ability to stand on one leg. There's been lots of studies done that can directly correlate the ability to stand on one leg with how long you live. I'm set up in between 2 objects. It doesn't have to be exactly the way I have it. It can be in between your countertop and your kitchen island. You just want to have 2 points of contact far enough away to where you don't feel like you're going to bump into them all the time. You're going to score this on your best, most confident leg. So a lot of times for right-hand dominant people, their left leg is their more stable leg, but that's not always the case. So go ahead and figure out for yourself real quick and figure out which leg is your most confident, strongest leg. Then when you're ready, you just want to lift up your leg and hold your balance. If you can do this for at least 1 second, you already earned yourself 1 point. If you can't really lift your leg for at least 1 second confidently and safely, then you're at 0. Every 5 seconds you go earns you an extra point. A perfect 10 out of 10 score is 45 seconds. Now, my disclaimer is that most of our patients can't even get close to 45 seconds. In fact, if you got to 30 seconds, you're way ahead of the curve. Where you're at originally doesn't really matter as much. We actually want to keep testing this week over week, month over month to see if we're making improvements. So say you're at 5 seconds to start, that's fine. Keep going every day until you see that improvement. Now, how do you improve? Well, the best way to improve is by just doing the test as your exercise. I want to challenge you to spend 5 minutes every day. I don't want you to bite off more than you can chew. I want you to do 5 quality minutes. It might be a little bit more than 5 total minutes because I want you to be doing 5 minutes of actually standing on that one leg. And I do want you to do a little bit of both legs. So when the one leg gets tired, go ahead and switch it up. So count 5 minutes of total single leg standing time and do that every single day. Because the consistency, that muscle memory, and that neurological connection to your muscles is what's gonna improve and gonna get you better at this. Second test is pretty simple. It's the timed up and go or tug test. So I'm sitting in a chair, that's where you're gonna start. I have a cone on the floor, 10 feet in front of me, or for anybody else that's not in the United States, 3 meters. And you're gonna start the timer as soon as you make your first move to stand up. So if you can hold a stopwatch, that's great. Or if there's a clock in front of you with a second hand on it, that's fine too. But your first movement to stand is going to start the test. Your last part of the test is going to be when your rear end comes back to the seat, you stop the test. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stand up, walk around that cone at my normal walking pace. That's very important. You don't want to rush this. Normal walking pace is actually something that changes depending on how confident you are with your walking, your strength, and your overall balance. So think of how fast you would normally walk through a crowd of people or to cross the street. That's going to be how fast you want to do this test. So we're going to start. I'm going to use my stopwatch here. I'm going to start it right when I make my first move. Now I'm going to walk around the cone at my normal walking pace, make my turn, come back to my chair, and sit back down. Okay, I did that in just about 9 seconds. The way you score this test is 10 seconds or less is going to be a 10 out of 10. Every second you add to that is going to subtract one point. So 11 seconds is going to be 9, and 8 is going to be 12, and so on until you get to 0. So write that down, document where you're at. Again, this is not a bad one to do every other day or so, once a week, just to see where you're at. And we should be making subtle improvements. The average score that we see in our clinics for people over the age of 65, the target score that we're looking for is 12 seconds or less, at which point we can kind of say that you aren't at a very high risk at all for a fall. Why does this predict longevity? Is because if you're over that 12, the further over 12 you get, it's a stronger correlation to your likelihood of having a fall. Of course, falls are what cause broken bones. Broken bones are a very serious medical condition that can result in a shortened lifespan. I saved the hardest for last. Up next is the sit to rise test. This test was originally studied pretty extensively in Brazil, and it found a direct correlation between the people that could do it living a little bit longer than the people that could not. It tests mobility, strength, stability, and balance. It's going to be done with a nice soft surface. If you have carpet, soft carpet, and a yoga mat, that's probably enough. But if you want to pick up one of these, we'll link to the one that we like to use with a little bit extra cushion. I also took my shoes off for this one. So basically, you're going to get started. And a perfect test is being able to go down and up without touching your hands or your knees to the ground. You are certainly not going to get a perfect example out of me. I like to pride myself as an average Joe who likes to take good care of themselves and live an active, healthy lifestyle. But I'm not a yoga instructor and I'm not a fitness guru. I'm guessing like most of you watching this video. I'm going to start off by crossing my legs and starting to squat down like I'm going towards the ground. You'll see that I can't get all the way to the ground without plopping. If you lose control and plop at any time, it doesn't count. You have to start over. So I get down to about here, and the time I need to put my hand back and let myself down nice and soft. Just by touching that one touch, that would dock me a point. Now, from here, I want to rest on kind of the blades of my feet on the outside, shift my weight forward, and try and stand. I can't do it without touching, so I'm going to need to touch with my hand. Now I can get myself up nice and smooth. So my score would have been 10 minus 1 on the way down, and then minus 2, one more touch on the way up for an 8 out of 10 total score. 8 out of 10, by the way, is a fantastic score. If any of you are at 8 out of 10, you're way ahead of the game. In fact, I would say you're probably going to land, our average patient is somewhere between a 3 and a 6 out of 10. And that would look more like this. So starting off here, crossing the feet, getting down to here, and then still needing something else. So you're going to drop that knee and then maybe sitting down from there. Okay, that would be docking 2 points, one hand and one knee on the way down. And say on the way up, you can't do it, so you're going to touch. You're going to go back down onto that knee, and then you just need that extra little help with both hands. And then from here, you can push. Okay, so then on the way up, I got both my hands touched, one of my knees. That's going to dock you 3 points. So minus 2 on the way down, minus 3 on the way up, lands you at a 5 out of 10. So how do you improve this test? Well, honestly, a great way to improve it is just by doing it often. So every day, maybe while you're watching TV, do a few of them. Just by putting yourself in those awkward positions, you're going to not only build strength, but you're going to build mobility as well. Or you can do some targeted exercises like we've covered in previous videos. Z-sitting is a great way to improve your hip mobility, where you sit down and you bring your legs from internal and external rotation and swapping back and forth, getting a good stretch, working your mobility. Another great way is squats. Squats are going to hit all those key muscles in your legs, the ones that you really need to elevate yourself off the floor. Also, lunges. Lunges put a little bit more stress on your quads and work on a little bit of that hip mobility and flexibility. So by doing those 3 exercises, you're going to see a carryover so that when you practice, you're going to be able to do this easier and more effectively. Once you finish all 3 of these tests, add up your scores. An excellent score is a 24 out of 30 or better. I would like you guys to be at least at a 20 or better pretty quickly. However, it's okay if you're not there yet. I'll say it one more time. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you go. So don't get discouraged. These 3 tests are challenging and take time to be perfect. I even have young patients in their 30s that struggle with these 3 tests. So practice the suggested stretches and movements, and over time, you will improve your score. Feel free to share your scores in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your progress and what you're working towards. If you enjoyed this video, you'll also love this video about how to reverse aging for seniors. I'll see you there.